Evening. Welcome to Inside City Hall for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. I'm Errol Lewis. We have only 30 days to go until Inauguration Day.
In just 30 days, New York City gets a completely new mayor. And tonight, we finally got a front row seat to the clearest vision yet of what Zoran Mamdani intends to do the moment he steps into City Hall. His interview on Inside City Hall wasn't just routine politics. It was a blueprint, a warning, and a reset button all at once. And buried inside this calm, polite conversation were clues that could redefine policing, immigration policy, education, and the balance of power between NYC and Washington.
Mamdani, welcome back to the program. Good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me. Great to be back.
So you had this meeting. Was this your first time speaking with Eric?
Before Mamdani even sat down, there was tension. He had just come from Gracie Mansion, his first face-to-face meeting with Eric Adams since defeating him. Political transitions are usually ceremonial. This one, it's personal.
Adams, since Election Day?
Since the Election Day, this is the first time meeting him in person. We'd spoken on the phone, but this was just meeting in person, myself, my chief of staff, my first deputy mayor, and the same for himself, his chief.
A polite beginning on camera, but behind the scenes, Adams reportedly told his photographers not to attend the meeting. No joint photo, no handshake moment, nothing. That silence speaks louder than words.
How is the transition going?
It's going well, and I have to say that I appreciate the fact that Mayor Adams has made his team available for hours as we negotiate both the logistical aspects of a transition and also ensuring that from December 31st to January 1st.
Mamdani makes it clear the transition machinery is moving. Adams' staff is cooperating because they have to. Behind the scenes, 400-plus transition committee members are scanning 70,000 resumes. Mamdani frames it as groundbreaking openness. But let's be real, this is also a purge. City Hall is being rebuilt top to bottom.
It is all getting me ready for the same job. It's also introducing me to the different styles that each mayor has actually taken. And the thing that comes back to it, no matter who I'm speaking to, is the importance of a good team around you. And I have already made the first two appointments of our transition in my chief of staff and my first deputy mayor. And to me, it's an example of...
This is one of the most important parts of the entire interview, and most viewers missed it. Mandani says every former mayor told him the same thing. Build a strong team. Trust them. Don't micromanage. That is the opposite of how Adams governed. For Mamdani to say this on camera was not an accident. It was a message, loud and clear. My administration won't look like his.
Making a decision about whether you're going to live there?
Now you sound like my landlord. No, not yet at a decision point, but I did appreciate having it at Gracie, and I've been there a few times visiting both Mayor Adams but also Mayor de Blasio.
Whether or not Mamdani moves into Gracie Mansion matters more than people think. Gracie is not just a home, it's a symbol of status, power, and New York's political elite. If Mamdani stays in his rent-stabilized apartment in Astoria, he becomes a working-class folk hero. If he moves into Gracie, he becomes part of the establishment, and he clearly knows the weight of that choice, which is why he joked. You sound like my landlord.
Help ICE do their work?
I think we're going to make it very clear that the NYPD is not assisting ICE in their actions. And I've said, even directly to the president, frankly, that these raids are cruel and inhumane.
This right here is the political earthquake of the night. New York City has always tried to balance safety and sanctuary, but Mamdani crossed a line Adams never did. He openly told the President of the United States that ICE raids are cruel, and then said NYPD will not help ICE under his leadership. That is a direct confrontation with federal law enforcement. This sets up a massive political collision. Mamdani versus Trump's deportation agenda. Expect lawsuits, protests, headlines, maybe worse.
Issue in our city. We have the most segregated school system in the United States of America. And it's a system where we are not only seeing that as a crisis, but also the fact that now for the 9th consecutive year, more than 100,000 of our students are homeless. I think we have breached 140,000 by last count. And so there are a number of proposals that have been put forward. I think a few of them, especially from the School Diversity Advisory Group in the previous administration, start to get to the heart of how we can resolve this, because what we have to ensure is that...
Mamdani acknowledges NYC has the most segregated school system in the U.S. He frames the crisis around homelessness, class size, and hiring more teachers. But the interviewer pushes back correctly, saying segregation is also about admissions barriers. Mamdani responds carefully. Every neighborhood should have excellent schools. Smart answer. But the truth? Changing admissions policies is political suicide in New York City. And Mamdani knows it.
That we had was prior to the recent raid, the attempted raid that we saw at Canal Street. And it was a conversation where I both communicated my condolences about the multiple National Guardsmen who were attacked and the one who then later lost their life to that horrific attack, and the focus on what we can actually do to build more housing here in New York City and the importance of serving New Yorkers' greatest need in what is pricing them out, which is the...
This was unexpected. Mamdani reveals he and Trump actually connected over housing. Trump, the real estate guy, loved it. For Mamdani, this is strategic brilliance. You can't fix New York's housing crisis without federal money. And if complimenting Trump gets the dollars flowing, he'll do it, even if they disagree on almost everything else.
And the affordability agenda that I ran on.
Later in tonight's show, I'm going to be talking with the author of a report about the looming federal cuts that are going to harm and even cripple a lot of nonprofit organizations, some of which provide really vital services. Along the way, though, the report notes that the city currently owes more than $1 billion in unpaid invoices going back to 2022 to various nonprofits here in the city. Is clearing that backlog going to be a priority for you?
Absolutely. And I think that if we want to be honest about our criticisms of other levels of government, we also have to own up to what city government can and should have been doing for a long time. And this report of estimating more than $1 billion in backlog payments, in some ways it is news, in other ways it's a continuation of a long-running story. And it's time for us to actually take this seriously.
Mamdani confirms it. The city owes nonprofits over $1 billion in unpaid invoices. These are organizations feeding the hungry, sheltering families, and caring for seniors. If they collapse, New York collapses. Mamdani promises to fix it, but repairing a $1 billion logjam while federal cuts are happening, this will be one of his hardest challenges.
The transition committees that you have, which is hundreds of people, they're looking at tens of thousands of resumes.
70,000 now.
Realistically, they're not going to necessarily look, sort of at each piece of paper or each, digital resume that's been submitted. What's the criteria going to be, though? What kind of criteria are they using to try and winnow it down to something manageable?
So we're actually already using the portal in search of specific sets of applicants who have checked off parts of their own experience or their own interests. And it will continue to be used not only by these 17 committees, the more than 400 New Yorkers who are on them, but also extending into the early months of the administration. And the key part here is we have to demystify government in all of its work. We have to ensure that how you get a job in city government is based on the work.
70,000 New Yorkers apply to work in his administration. That's historic. Mamdani calls his hiring philosophy work you've done, not who you know. Again, a direct contrast with Adams' loyalty-based hiring. This is Mamdani's attempt to build the most transparent city government in decades.
To undergo a massive transformation. Do you support any of the plans on the table? Do you think that maybe Madison Square Garden should be moved?
In the final minutes, Mamdani makes it clear. He is not governing like a moderate Democrat. He is not governing like Adams. He is reshaping City Hall with a worker-first, immigrant-first, system change mindset. Whether New York thrives or spirals in conflict will depend on how these next 30 days play out. But one thing is unmistakably clear. The Mamdani era has officially begun.